Good morning, my dear class 4 students. I hope all of you are fit and fine at your homes. And students, just do remember one thing, be at your home, don't go outside, and exercise daily. Do your exercise daily. Do some physical work, like you can help your parents, help your mother, your father in regular household work, so that it will be a help for your parents as well as exercise for you also. So be at your home and be safe. So students, here we are studying about our chapter, that is adaptation in plants. Students, today I am giving you a quick recap of this chapter that we have already learned, and then we will do some question answers, and after that from tomorrow's session we will start our next chapter. So let's move forward, students. In this chapter, first we have learned about the meaning of adaptation. Adaptation means the process of adjustment to their surrounding by animals and plants is called adaptation. Okay, so on the basis of this, the plants are divided into two categories. The first one is aquatic plants and second one is terrestrial plants. Aquatic plants means the plants that grow in water is called aquatic plants. Second, terrestrial plants means the plants that grow on land is called terrestrial plants. Again, the aquatic plants are divided into three subcategories. The first one is floating plants, second fixed plants, and third one is underwater plants. Floating plants are the plants that float on the surface of water all the time. Its examples are hyacinth and duckweed. As you can see in this image, the whole plant, the root, shoot, flowers, leaves, all the parts are just floating on the on the surface of water. So that's why they are floating plants, just like a boat floats on the water. Second, fixed plants means the plants whose root is fixed under the soil of the plant of the water body, like river and ponds. Examples are lotus and water lily. Then the third type is submerged, or you can say underwater plant, means the plant whose complete all the parts remain submerged underwater is called underwater plants, like hydrilla and vallisneria. Then we have learnt about the different types of terrestrial plants that grow on land, like neem, banyan, ashoka, tulsi, rose, all the plants that you see around you. Its first part is plants in plain, means the plants that are present around you in Delhi, like neem, burgad, mango, all the plants that are called plants of plains. Second one is desert plant, means the plants that grow in deserted area where there is a scarcity of rainfall, scarcity of water. Then such plants leaves are converted into spines to conserve water, and their stems are generally green and fleshy, so the water remain conserved inside them. Next we have discussed about the plants of cold, or you can say the hilly regions. Here the plants are of conical shape. Because of this conical shape, they can survive extreme cold climatic conditions, as during the snowfall the snow just fell down, and because their leaves is like needle shaped. And now I am giving you a question, that why the shape of leaves of hilly area plants are needle like. Okay, you have to find out its answer. Why the leaves of cold region plants are needle shaped. Then we have discussed that in the hilly area plants, the flowers are not grown. Instead, the cones are grown there and seeds are in between the cones. Then we have discussed about the plants of hot regions. They are always green in color, means the leaves remain throughout the year in these plants. And its examples are rubber plant, coconut plant, etc. Then next, that is very important, the plants of marshy area. Its example is mangrove plants, because it is marshy area, so that's why the soil is less in air quantity, means there is scarcity of gases in the soil. So for the breathing, the roots comes out of the soil to breathe in the air. So such plants that grow in a marshy area, means daldal wala area, that are the mangroves. Then I have gave you too many examples that how plants are useful for us. Like we get food from the plants, that is very important. We get oxygen from the plants. Then from the different types of plants like bamboo plant, jute plant, we make too many products like rope. We make rope, basket, slippers, various decorative household items, various utensils for our kitchen. And in the rural area, its husk is used as a roof of huts. Then I have gave you a very special type of plants, that is some unusual plants, and I have gave you a short video related to this topic also. Isn't it was interesting na students? You have seen that how a Venus flytrap catches its prey and just eat that housefly, or you can say the tiny little insects, and then just throw out its waste dead body out. So here are some unusual plants like pitcher plant, Venus flytrap plant, and sundew plants. They are the insectivorous plants, means they feed on insects. Yes. Then to some more unusual plants, that is mushroom, that is our food also, and fungus. Fungus you can easily see observe during the rainy season. If you will take a chapati and just do this experiment at your homes. Just take a bread piece or a piece of chapati and slightly sprinkle some few drops of water on it, and then place it in a wet area like under your sink, at the corner of your bathroom, and after 3 to 4 days you will observe there are little greenish black colored thing is growing on that piece. So actually these are the fungus or molds. Okay, so they depends on, or you can say they derive its food from dead and decaying matter. They are plants, but they doesn't go under the process of photosynthesis. Instead, they get their food from the dead and decaying parts. Because no green color is here, still they are plants, because they are making their food by their own, but not by the process of photosynthesis. There are some other reaction going on inside them. Students, then we have discussed some keywords like adaptation, terrestrial plants, aquatic plants, insectivorous plants. Okay, now today I will give you a very important information, that is, do you know 17, yes, 17 full grown trees are cut. Yes, they are cut to make 1000 kg paper. Means only 1000 kg paper. Only 1000 kg paper is made by the 17 fully grown trees. Means these trees are cut down just to make trees. Means some organism have sacrificed their life for our betterment, that is for the paper. So students, whenever you use your paper, whether it is a newspaper or just a paper from your notebook and or paper from your diary, your book, your notebook, newspaper, magazine, wherever you are using the papers, always try to save the paper, because because a living organism, that is a tree, has sacrificed its life for you. So always just use paper wisely. Never ever waste a bit of paper. So here I am giving you some points that how you can save paper. First, use both sides of paper. Means if you are using a notebook, a diary, so always use its both side. Never leave its one side unused. Second, use old calendars or old diaries to do your rough work. Okay. And next one is, after reading newspaper, means when the work of reading paper for you is done, just collect some newspapers like for a month or for 2 months, and then sell that bunch of newspaper to a rag picker or a kabadi walas that usually comes around us in our societies. So this is how we can save papers, and by saving papers we can save trees. So we can reuse papers, recycle paper, and reduce the wastage of paper. So students, always do remember this thing. Always save paper as much as you can. Okay, now it's time for an activity. Here I am showing you an image related to activity. In it, a cardboard is cutted in such a manner that 2 flaps are attached here and a small hole is present at the end of this box. Now a potato is placed here, okay, with a little amount of water. So after some day, and now just cover this box with its lid. After some day, you will observe that a plant is coming out from this potato and it's moving towards the hole. Yes. So can you give me the answer why it is moving towards the hole that is present here? So students, this is because when the box is closed, all the light is closed to this potato plant, but only source of light to this potato plant is coming through this hole. So this potato plant just bend towards the hole and gradually it grow towards this, and after some day, after 5 to 10 days, when we will open this lid, we will see that the potato is growing around this maze and moving towards the hole, because all green plants need sunlight to grow, and in search of sunlight this plant is growing in such manner. So it is your homework to take a old shoe, cardboard, make a maze like this, means take two cardboard pieces and attach them here like this manner, and then place a take a plastic glass, put some soil in it and a potato, and then cover this for 5 to 10 days. After 5 to 10 days, when you will open this lid, but do not open it in between. After 10 days, when you will open the lid, you will see this plant is growing in such a manner that it is moving towards the hole that we have created here. So by this activity, we can get the knowledge that all the plants need sunlight for its proper growth. Now students, one more question for you. One I already gave you. Second question for you to find out its answer. Why do the cactus, or you can say the desert plants, have spines in them? Okay. Next question I am giving you, that what are the insectivorous plants, and give any 3 examples. Okay students, so here I am giving you homework of 3 questions, and do this activity at your home. By doing this activity, you will enjoy your holidays, and as well as you will learn something also. So that's it for today's session, and our lesson is also completed here. Now we will move forward with our next chapter. Thank you for today. Be safe, be at your home. Thank you.